Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I am looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Inquisitor's TIE Advanced prototype. This was released in 2016. Now the ship itself was first seen in Star Wars Rebels, the CGI show released in 2014. Now today is going to be either the smartest idea I ever had or the dumbest. Here we have the Inquisitor's TIE still in its package. The package is almost mint. We're going to take a look at it in just a bit. There is a little area on the, well, my right, but you guys know what I mean. This tip over here is a little bent up, but the ship itself is the main focus here. As you can see, it's actually in the package incorrectly. The S-foil or wing is folded up. Therefore, the seller sold it for a little extra money, but I thought it was well worth it just to have an oddity on the channel. Now, the blasphemy I'm about to commit is that we're going to open this bad boy. I'm going to have this in my hand, and I'm going to share it with everybody. So if you're new to the channel, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over the box, we're going to open it, take a look at that ship's mold, put it on a stand, talk about paint and other dimensions, compare it to some other rare pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. All right, macro lens, don't let us down. So let's look at the packaging. Here we have the Inquisitor's TIE, looking very cool. Then we have Star Wars. There's our title, Inquisitor's TIE Advanced Prototype. Star Wars Rebels. And here we have the ship itself. Look at that. Very cool. Definitely is an oddity. Nice. Then we have our flight navigator. That's our stand for those who might not know. Hot Wheels die cast on the bottom. Nothing really to write home about. You can see the ship in there. Pretty cool. Side of the package, nothing really there. The other side, kind of blank. Pretty back of the package, we have the Star Wars logo, item's name, and we have the ship on the stand. Cool. And then if you're a child, you can put your finger in there and then zoom it around. Pew-pew. And of course, we have all our copyright stuff and whatever. Made in China. And some other ships in the line, in which we reviewed all of them. So, let's crack it open. Okay, let's do this. Oh boy, here we go. You only get one shot at this. We have our navigator stand right here. We'll take a quick look at this later on. And this is what everybody cares about. So just try not to break it. And it's out. Here it is. Oh. This is the first time that I'm holding this. Oh, I like those wings. Actually has a lot of nice qualities to this. Really cool. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Inquisitor's TIE. This is a magnificent piece. Very small, but we'll go over that later on. But the detailing is there and it is amazing. Lots of hidden stuff here and there. Beautiful. So just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections, then we'll get a close-up look to see those fine details. Let's begin with the center section. We have our laser cannons on the bottom. As you can see, they do protrude outward and are painted red. Nice. We have our transparisteel viewport, which has windows that are recessed in. Again, that's a hit with me. On the top, we have our entry hatch, which looks fantastic. 4 windows on there. Then we have our pylons. Now on Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, that's where the sensors and cargo hold is. So I don't have any data that says what exactly is in here, but it should be somewhat similar since this is the prototype version of that vessel. Regardless, it is detailed and it does have many similarities with Darth Vader's version. So that's pretty cool. Then right here we have our wing sections. So on the top, these are our solar collector wings, which look great, very detailed on both sides. Nice. And then on the outside, this is all armor here, which is very cool. You can see the paneling, the line work, our wing brace right there, looking sharp. Very cool. Now, the cool thing about this particular version of the TIE Fighter is that the wings have S-foils that can fold. So let's take a quick look at that. To open and close the wings, you just take them on the side and press. You can see there's like a little mechanism here that supports the bottom, and it sort of snaps into place if you listen. You can kind of hear it. But yeah, not really going anywhere. They're very sturdy. It looks very cool. They snap into place. And just like that, you're good to go. And it looks fantastic. Simply amazing. I love that the wings can open and shut. That's beautiful. Now turning the ship around, we have our aft section. We can see a rivet holding everything together. Now back here, this is where we have all our meat and potatoes, so to speak. This then has hyperdrive, shields, life support, and then it also has our ion engines. So everything is tucked in back here. And you can see it does somewhat look like Darth Vader's, just very condensed and small compared to Vader's, which is larger. But lots of great detailing in here. Really nice. Now, of course, we have copyright crap underneath. But all in all, a nice little vessel here. Can't forget that connector port for the stand as well. But really cool. So now let's have a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we'll begin with the armor section of the wing. You can see a little triangle that's raised up and some nice line work coming down. The armor paneling looks fantastic. And then right here, before we touch upon the wing brace, let me close the wing real quick and you could see the mechanism that locks it right here above my thumbnail. Just listen. Pretty cool, right? Very nice. Then we have our wing brace looking fantastic. I love the back here too with these little pieces that protrude out. It's pretty awesome. Nice line work as well. Now mine does have little paint chips here and there. Don't really know how that happened. I'm gonna have to rethink what the heck I did with this bad boy. But anyway, moving down, we have more paneling for the armor, which looks great. Now for the sides, there's nothing really to write home about. Of course, we have our little pins for the mechanism here, and then a little flashing from the plastic molding process. But for the most part, it's just plain, which is true to the show. You know, it's basically all armor out here. The real meat and potatoes comes from the interior, which you can see these solar array panels right here, or collectors. Little paint mishap right there in the center, but the detailing is fantastic. And the cool thing is, if I turn it this way, and hopefully it focuses, the paneling is recessed into the wing. And I love that. That's a great attention to detail. Very nice. And that's the same for down here, and as well as the other side. So we're not going to focus on the other side. but really cool. Love the detailing. Now for the interior, we have our gimmick here that we looked at before, and that sort of takes up the mold on this side and on the bottom. But then we have the interior of the wing brace section, which looks fantastic. I like all the little raised sections here. That looks dope. Looking at the aft, you can see again some little raised sections, squares and rectangles, looking pretty cool. I think they came out great. Now for the pylon, check this out. Beautifully detailed. Nothing is really flat. Everything is sectioned off, and it looks great. Looks beautiful. I like this quite a bit. And the other pylon is the same. As you can see, it's all recessed in, some nice line work. Why is this not focusing? Driving me nuts. There we go. Really neat. For the top, you see a little seam line right there. But for the most part, it looks great. There we go. Now it's focused. I can't win. But beautifully done. Look at that. Really cool. So again, we have our seam line, some nice mold in there. Same for this side. No real differences whatsoever. For the underneath, again, similar. Got that seam line, peg port for the stand. Pretty nice. Now for the cockpit sphere, this is the bottom. So we have little numbers here for copyright crap, or model number. And we have our laser cannons, which are protruding outward and painted, which is really cool. And I love the added detail in between those cannons. That looks great. And one of my favorite parts is the transparasteel viewport, which each window is recessed in from those reinforcement struts. And you guys know me, I love that. Some great molding and line work around the cockpit sphere. Coming up, we have our entry hatch and windows. And again, beautifully done, nicely molded. Sometimes things are a little rounded here and there due to the enamel paint, but not too bad this time. Everything's there that should be. And here's the back. See our ion engines, everything like that. Rivet holding it together. It's pretty nice. Now for the aft back here, this is where we have our life support, shields, all that fun stuff, hyperdrives. And you can see it has some nice line work, some recessed areas, paneling if you want to put it that way. It's pretty neat. Same for this side. See back here, it's kind of blah. We have two little raised sections right here. Not painted or anything, but very cool. You barely even see those little humps, but they are there. So that's pretty nice. And then for the underneath, we have copyright crap, more paneling, recessed ports, which is pretty nice. And this side as well. Really cool. All in all, a fantastic looking ship. So that's everything I have to say about the mold. All in all, I'm very happy with this piece. So now let's put it on a stand. And now looking at the stand for the Inquisitor's tie, we've seen these little flight navigators before, or display stands. We have Hot Wheels right here, some nice molding. It is very translucent, which is nice. You can see on this side we have Star Wars, looking cool. Then right here we have our faction symbol. So you can see this one is Imperial, which is pretty cool. We have our pylon and then connector port right here. That's kind of neat. Then on the bottom we have these like laser cannon extensions. So that way you can put your finger in it and then put your ship on top and go pew 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 pew. To be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of these particular stands. I prefer the more collector-friendly versions, but for the time, they served their purpose. So to get your ship on there, get your ship like so, put the connector into the port like so, you're going to hear a little click, and just like that, everybody, you are good to go. Alright, when it comes to the paint on the Inquisitor's TIE Advanced Prototype, it has 5 different colors: gray, dark gray, black, glossy black, and red. For the ship's length, we have 0.9 inches or 23.16 millimeters. For the ship's width, it comes in at 2.2 inches or 57.8 millimeters. And for the ship's height, it comes in at 1.9 inches or 48.79 millimeters. For the ship's weight, it comes in at 1.252 ounces or 35.47 grams. For a size comparison with the Inquisitor's TIE seen in the center, I have it next to some other rare Hot Wheels vessels. First, on the left-hand side, we have the ARC 170, looking sharp. And on the right-hand side, we have the Republic Attack Cruiser, looking awesome. For an added bonus size comparison with the Inquisitor's TIE seen in the center, I have some other Hot Wheels ships again. First, on the left-hand side, we have the Resistance Troop Transport, looking sharp. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, another amazing vessel. And for our last size comparison with the Inquisitor's TIE in the center, I have it next to, you guessed it, more rare Hot Wheels ships. So first, on the left-hand side, we have the Jedi Starfighter. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have Jabba's Sail Barge. Each one of these vessels has been an amazing event in my life to find. Some were donated to the channel, others were hunted down at various different stores like Toys R Us or even Best Buy. And if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of these ships I showcased today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Inquisitor's TIE Advanced Prototype, released in 2016. Mind blown. It is amazing. The mold is fantastic. 4 movable S-foil wings, which is great. We got 5 colors of paint working together to bring this TIE fighter to life. It is amazing. And you can't forget, it does come with a stand to make it blend in with the rest of the line. I prefer the newer stands, which are more collector friendly, but I understand what they were going for, catering to kids. They can put their finger in and go pew pew. But it is what it is. I really enjoy this ship, and I'm very proud to share it with all of you. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, and if you would like to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, thank you for taking time out of your hectic schedule to watch my content. You know I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.